We're at H2O Splash. I'm going to show you how to install a reverse osmosis or RO system under kitchen sink. This is a display unit with no water pressure hooked to it. So starting out, we usually install the faucet first. They come in a box with these two pieces on them. You'll need to take those both off. Install the top seal. The plate and the base seal, those go on top of the sink. Some sinks have a sprayer or a hole in the sink already. If you don't have a hole in the sink, you can drill a hole in the sink. In the stainless steel, you start out with a small bit and work up to 7/16 size. All you need is a size to fit this stem, and 7/16 will do it. You can, if you have porcelain coated cast iron or a hard type sink, you can start out with a carbide tipped masonry bit to get through to the cast iron, and then go from there with your regular drill bits. But 7/16 is the largest hole you need. Install the RO faucet, place it on the top, and you'll have to line that up if you have a large hole like that for the sprayer, which we have here. Sometimes you might need help, but you take your hold down nut, bottom piece, and a lock washer come in the kit. Reach under the sink and hold the faucet stem. Kind of tricky sometimes. This is a 9/16 nut. You can use a 9/16 wrench or an adjustable wrench. It's kind of tight to get up in there, or you can use a deep well socket on a ratchet, which makes it real handy. Get that snugged down to where you want it. And we use blue line for pure water. You can take your blue line and the compression nut with the plastic ring. Always use a plastic ring for plastic hose. And place that on the stem. And that is usually a 1/2 inch wrench for that nut. You'll take a wrench and snug that up. And grab the RO system itself. You could do this at any time. We usually put them in the sink. That way you can bring the hose up to the unit. When you're ready to change filters, you can pull the unit up out of the sink and put it out from under the sink, put it up in the sink, and change your filters without having to work on the floor. So if you just put it up in the sink during installation, that'll be all set up for you. So you can connect your blue line. You can cut a little off if you have too much. We'll just put it in for now. With a quick connect fitting, you just push it right in. If you need to get a quick connect fitting out, you can compress the ring on the outside and pull the hose right out. If you don't compress the ring, it's stuck in there. So our faucet line is on the outlet end of the post-carbon filter, and they are marked with a flow direction going out up here on the sticker, and then also on the back of the filter is a flow direction. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but flow direction on that's going to the faucet. The next step, we'll hook up the drain clamp. There's two types of drain clamps, one that has a threaded nut, and then there's a quick connect type also. I like to install the drain clamp before I drill the hole in the pipe, and they come with a little seal, little foam seal. Peel the plastic off, place the seal over the hole, and just push it down in place. Now on the drain clamp, you want to make sure that the drain clamp is in the drain line before your trap. So on this installation with horizontal We don't have enough room in the vertical pipes, but in the horizontal, you can put it right on the horizontal pipe here. As long as you're up above the halfway or center line of the pipe, you'll be fine on your drain. You don't have to be up on the top completely to get your drill in here. You can be right there. Then you'll take your drill with a 3/16 bit, which is the size 1/16 under a quarter, smaller than the hole that the hose goes in, and it won't damage the O-ring if you have a quick connect fitting. And just drill your hole through the first side of the pipe, and that's as far as you go. Take your black line, which we use for drain, put it in, quick connect drain, come up to the drain connection, which will be the outer part of the membrane. This particular one has a threaded nut for the drain hookup. There are some quick connect drain hookups also, and there'll be some with a restrictor tube that will already have a piece of black hose going to a restrictor tube. If you have that style, you just hook your line into the end of the restrictor tube. And that's your drain hookup. The next hookup is your tank. You can place your tank on either side of the under sink, or in the middle if you have a double drain and can't get it on the sides, or a disposer, wherever it's best. And you can lay down a tank if you need to, or if you have a garbage disposal and you can slip it under and behind, that works also. Tank hookup, very simply, into the quick connect shut-off valve. And by the way, the shut-off valve has a quarter turn off crossways with the hose, on in line with the hose. Come up to your T from the post filter, and again, if you have a little extra, you can cut it off. Just make sure to cut it off good and square. There's our tank hookup. And the water inlet hookup now will be the last hookup. To start out with that, I'll show you two different types of supply line. The cold supply is normally on the right side under your sink. Now, you need to make sure that it's on the right side of yours by just turning on your faucet. If you have a shut off, you can shut it off, and your water at your faucet should stop on your cold side. One type of supply line is a rigid plastic pipe that uses a compression nut and goes from here up to your faucet. And these, of course, will already be installed. If it's that type, you can use the piercing or saddle valve that comes in the kit, and it'll have a little seal that goes over the piercing needle. If it's not installed, you'll need to install that. And you need to back that needle off all the way so it's not sticking out through the seal. To put that onto your supply line, you just take one side loose, put it over your supply line back towards the back there, and this particular one, you can go down or up with it like this. This particular one seems to be better this way. And there's a little notch that goes in if you have a 3/8 line, which this is, fits right in the back of that saddle valve. If you have half or 3/4 pipe, this side of the supply valve saddle it can be turned over to go for 3/4 or 1/2 inch pipe, larger pipe. This installation we'll use like this. Of course, these screws will tighten down, and you may have copper or rigid plastic. Just don't go too tight and smash your pipe. Once you get this installed, you'll have a compression nut and ring for your red hose. Take your piece of red hose, with the plastic ring again on plastic line. Install that directly to your saddle valve connection, and we still have not pierced the hose yet. We don't have any water flowing. Wait until you get all that hooked up. That'll be hooked up back on your cold supply. Bring your red line up and attach it to your inlet to the pre-filters of the RO system. Okay, that's the one type of hookup. If you have a flexible supply line, it'll be attached here to your supply valve. And that flexible supply line is not really good to put a saddle valve or piercing valve onto. So what you need to do is either replace that with a rigid copper or plastic tube, or if you're lucky enough to look at this video before ordering your RO, we have an optional supply valve T that you can put right on top of your 3/8 supply valve, and that is a really nice little unit. We'll go ahead and use that one because we already showed you how to do the other way. You'd take a 5/8 wrench to loosen your 3/8 supply valve nut. You can actually take that supply line and start it onto your T. A swivel nut on your supply valve T, so it will go any direction you want to go with it. Place it onto the supply valve, snug it down with a 5/8 wrench or an adjustable wrench. Snug your supply line on down, and you're ready to hook up your red supply line to the quick connect fitting in the supply valve T, and bring it up and hook it to your RO system. This hose is just almost a little short, but hook it up there, and once you're done with either type of installation of your supply line, you can turn your supply valve on. Just begin filling your RO system pre-filters. As that's filling, we recommend turning the RO faucet on, and it may take 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes before water begins to flow. It may not take that long, but sometimes it does. And you'll get a little dribble out of your RO spout. And then we recommend letting that, shutting that off, letting the holding tank fill for approximately 2 hours, and when that's full, come and turn your RO spigot on and let that whole tank flush out into the sink. That will purge all your new filters, and the post filter will have some carbon fines that will be gray or black, and you will not have to you don't want to drink that or let it go to your ice maker if you do an ice maker hookup. By the way, you can do an ice maker or refrigerator hookup by teeing into the blue line down here, drilling a hole down, or through your cabinet to your refrigerator, however you need to get to your refrigerator. That should be about it on RO installation.